Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be the price of silence in the relationship. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please subscribe. So I'll jump right into it. Silence is something that you learned in the relationship. You understood that silence many times was the best option, because if you would express yourself or if you would say things or vocalize your opinions or thoughts, you would be silenced, because you would be met with perhaps a rage fit or gaslighting or somebody invalidating you or acting like they didn't hear you. In other words, selective hearing, etc. But the point being, the longer you were in the narcissistic relationship, you were silenced. Now, this is not a good thing. It's not a healthy thing, because when you are being silenced, in other words, when you are around another individual and you can't just be, you can't be yourself, it's not a good feeling. That's a feeling of not being liberated, not being able to be heard, not being able to vocalize your opinions. Because when you were with the individual or individuals, i.e. the narcissists, what would happen is they would be around you, but they would be so caught up with their drama. In other words, with what is going on around them. And they would be many times not listening to anything you had to say, if they ever made time for you at all. That's why these narcissistic relationships are one-way relationships to Destructionsville. They don't serve you. They don't benefit you. It takes a long time to figure this out when you're in it, specifically if you're in the narcissistic fog, or if you feel like you are trapped. In other words, perhaps you're married to the narcissist, or you're living under the roof with the narcissist, or they owe you money, or you can't relocate, things like that. But the price to pay in the relationship, one of the prices to pay, is when you are silenced. And when you're silenced, you're groomed, you're taught. In other words, let's say when you first met the narcissist, what did you do? Probably one of the first things you did is you shared an awful lot about yourself. You weren't silenced then. You were excited. Everything was puppies and rainbows, because you finally believed that you met somebody who you could share your life with. As an example, maybe it was romantic interest, a friendship, whatever it was, go into business with them. The point being is, this is all on purpose. The narcissist wanted you to open up, and they themselves were very silent, usually in the beginning of the relationship, because they are winding you up, pushing your buttons, listening to everything that makes you tick, only to weaponize this at a later date against you. That's why in the very beginning of these relationships, they usually move at light speed. They usually move rather quickly. In other words, let's say it's a romantic interest. You met somebody, you perhaps fell in love or were attracted to them, and then within weeks or months or a short period of time, perhaps you moved in. Maybe even you got married or traveled with them somewhere or relocated, etc. Or, like I keep saying, loaned them money or went into business with them. But you made a life-altering change rather quickly when you met the narcissist. That is, again, for a whole different video. But the price of silence in the relationship, this is a very steep price to pay. Let's say, example, you are still in the relationship. Well, most likely you're looking to exit it. You probably have an exit plan. Maybe you're waiting for the kids to turn a legal age. Maybe you're waiting to save money. Maybe you're waiting for the lawyers. Maybe you're waiting for the narcissist or yourself to file for divorce. Who knows? Maybe you're waiting to relocate. Maybe you're waiting till that contract expires and you can finally be free of them in a business-like setting. Maybe you're waiting for them to repay you the money they owe you, which I hear frequently. These and many other reasons will be some of the reasons why you stay in the relationship. Now, if you have identified that the narcissist is in fact a narcissist and you're in the relationship, you must understand that gray rock is the path, and that not sharing information with the individual is key. It's instrumental. And we're all in different situations. I understand that. So perhaps you can't gray rock, or perhaps you can't go no contact and delete them, etc. I get it. The point is, you're getting the wisdom on my channel and you're becoming educated and empowered. That's the key. But your silence, the silence is the price to pay in the relationship. It's huge. Think about this. Think about post-relationship, the smear campaign, or even if you're in the relationship and you've identified that you are a target of a smear campaign, which is when the narcissist is spreading untruths about you to virtually anybody who will listen. When that happens, you have a couple options. You could defend yourself, or you could do what? That's right. You can take the high road and be silent and just let the naysayers be naysayers. Let the doom and gloomers be those people. Let the gossip people be themselves. This is exactly what I did. I took the high road. I did not do anything other than that, and that's how I lived my life. Because the smear campaign, For those people that want to believe in it, whether it's with me or anyone on the channel or in the community, and drop comments below, that's up to you to decide whatever you want to think. But you weren't there, you don't know anything. All you know is one side of a story. That's why your silence is a price to pay, but it's a good thing. Now, being silent and being silenced is two different things. Being silent is a choice. You choose to use your words or you choose to be silent. That is powerful and empowering. Being silenced is what the narcissist wanted to do to you throughout the body of the relationship post-euphoric stage. In other words, once they had the ring on the finger, or once you loaned them money or moved in with them or relocated, etc., that's when they wanted you silenced, because now they knew they had you under wraps. They now knew that they had you where they wanted you, and they positioned you strategically in the narcissistic fog, the devaluation stage, where they would silence you more and more and more. And you found out if you stood up for yourself, let's say you wanted to go to a certain restaurant for dinner, if you said that, that would not happen, would it? No, because if you wanted it, the narcissist would make sure you didn't get what you wanted. Remember, these relationships are all about one person, and it's not you, it's the narcissist. That's exactly why they go on to unsuspecting individuals who don't have the education on the narcissistic abusive cycle, who don't know their own worth, who don't have boundaries, who don't understand that saying no is a powerful thing, and that they should not be in a relationship with a narcissist or any individual who is not listening to them. Now, again, when you are silenced in the narcissistic relationship, this is a slow drip, it's a slow bleed, because you realize over time that when you stood up for yourself or said things to the narcissist, maybe it was just you learned some new information about some new technology like AI or something, you shared it with them. Well, they would absorb your information, and then tomorrow or later in the future, they would say, oh yeah, I just learned this new thing about AI, it's incredible. And you would be like, well, wait, I told you that myself the other day, remember? And they're like, no, I don't remember that. And you get so beaten down using examples like that, that you are silenced. You just don't even stand up for yourself anymore. And the narcissist knows this, believe me when I tell you. What the narcissist does is they consume information. They are a consumable cockroach, if you will. They just go around the globe consuming information and invalidating people. There's no originality to these individuals at all. They just take what other people's, including their words, their money, their time, their energy, their effort, everything, their love, their empathy. That's why each and every narcissistic relationship has an expiration date. It's either A, you get discarded because the narcissist found your replacement, because most likely your resources have become depleted. Perhaps your health is ailing, your financial status has dwindled, and perhaps you don't have a job anymore, or you don't have the social status you had. These and so many other reasons are why you could be discarded. Another reason is because the narcissist needs new shiny objects. They need new people that they can silence. Understand the theme here for this video. Another reason the narcissistic relationship would end is if you wised up and figured it out yourself. As I mentioned previously in the video, perhaps you have an exit plan. If you do, God bless you, it's great. Make sure you follow it through to a T and do everything you possibly can without the narcissist knowing what's going on to remove yourself from the relationship when the time is right. Again, for a different video. Point being, the price of silence in the relationship, it's a steep price to pay. Let's say post-narcissistic relationship, again, let's say the dust has settled. You have now healed, as an example, or you are well on the healing path. Well, what did you find out? Oh, that's right, you found out that you have a lot of free time now, because all the time that you used to spend with the narcissist putting out their fires and running around being their errand person and planning trips, etc., and all the barbecues and all these kind of things, that you don't have to do those any longer, and you used your time post-narcissistic relationship wisely to invest in yourself, and you were silent. In other words, you weren't telling everybody what you were doing, but you were healing, you were journaling, you were talking to a therapist, you were meditating, you were reading, you were watching videos, you were healing childhood wounds and or healing other core wounds that perhaps you had. In other words, you were fixing yourself, because when you entered the narcissistic relationship, let's be real, you entered that unwillingly and unknowingly anything about narcissism, but still you entered it. That meant that certainly you had some issues to clear up, and here you are, you're doing it. But you didn't go telling everybody what you're doing. As a matter of fact, your social circle most likely was whittled away either by the smear campaign or by you identifying now toxic behaviors in relationships that you have had, maybe for months, decades, a lifetime. And you now understand, wait a minute, I've been giving to all these people. I'm not talking about the narcissist now. I'm talking about other exterior people. and you say to yourself, wait, I've been really there for these people. I've been their sounding board. I've been solving their problems. I've been loaning them money not to be returned. I've been available to them. That's when you become silent. That's when you don't reply to texts that don't serve you. That's when you block other individuals. That's when you invest in yourself. That's another price to pay of the relationship. It is the casualties of the relationship post discard or post ending of it, because you're going to find out essentially you're going to have a very small circle of people around you. Let's put it that way. Another thing, let's go back to when you were in the relationship. Let's say you did get to that restaurant, and let's say, of course, the narcissist had to select it because it couldn't be your restaurant, even though it was your birthday, as an example. But you went there. What would happen? Would you be sitting down engaging in intellectual conversation with the individual, i.e. the narcissist? Of course not. Why? Because you would be silenced, because they would be on one of their 3 smartphones, or perhaps they would be triangulating you with a waiter or another individual in a booth nearby. But what would they not be doing? They would not be celebrating your birthday, or they would not be there present with you. Yes, they would be at the dinner table, and perhaps they would actually look at you every once in a while and say something that didn't have much meaningful purpose, but they would acknowledge you every once in a while, and then they would go back to their smartphone, or claim that they had a very difficult day, or that they have to get home early, or that this, and this is happening, and that, and that. In other words, they weren't celebrating you and your birthday. That's an example. Remove the birthday, it's the same thing. If you were with the narcissist at any dinner, lunch, breakfast, wherever you want to call it, and it was a public setting, believe me, they weren't paying attention to you. They were looking around for the next new shiny object, perhaps your replacement, perhaps someone that would give them a look of positivity, and it would feed up their fragile ego. Remember, the narcissist is looking for supply all over the globe. It doesn't have to be a romantic interest. You don't have to be sitting at the table with them. They could just take a look around and scan the room, and if one person catches their eye, then they feel good. They're like, whoa, that person's looking at me. This is great. All right, I got a little dopamine hit. I got a little supply rush. Now I feel good about myself for the next 20 seconds. And then, as usually, like a balloon that is deflating with a hole in it, that's what happens. Then the narcissist they need another hit. That's why they keep looking around the room. That's why they're always on social media. That's why they're on multiple phones. That's why they don't pay attention to you. And you may say, well, wait a minute, Andrew, what are you talking about? Why don't they pay attention to me? I'll tell you why. Because they already know they have you, and they have become jaded and or bored with you. Tough love, but it's real. Remember, the narcissist always needs new things. They need to be stimulated. And at one point, you were the person that was doing that, meaning you were the eye candy. You were the person that was providing them something new. But then that got old rather quickly. And when it did, the narcissist went and looked on and on and on for multiple sources of supply. But the price to pay, the price to pay of silence in the relationship, it's a steep price to pay. Remember, as I mentioned earlier, there's a huge difference between being silent and being silenced. There's a huge difference. And by now, you probably have understood that when you are silent, it empowers you. That is why I suggest on the channel frequently to go no contact, to block the narcissist, remove all flying monkeys and people associated with them, because this is now your next phase of your life. You are now entering the 3rd version of you. You are getting stronger. You are resilient. You are determined, focused, and you know now your worth. And now you have boundaries. Having said all these things, when you were with the narcissist, you were silenced. Think about this. Think about how many times you would be in a car ride, just you and the narcissist. Did you ever really have intelligent conversation in the car? No. You had an awkward what? That's right. You had an awkward silence. And it was like you could cut the air in the car with a butter knife, because if you said something, you would get a grunt or whatever, something like that. But then they wouldn't say things many times. And if they did say something, perhaps you experienced a rage fit. And i.e., many times rage fits do happen in cars. Why? Because it is a moving vehicle many times, and you are the driver, or many times, let's say, and no one will see the rage fit. Think about it. This happens so frequently. Rage fits, you experience them many times behind closed doors, but in a car, whether it's moving or not, but many times it's moving, that's when you'll experience rage fit also, because no one is around to see it. Think about it. It's so true. This is how the narcissist isolates you and wants you silenced. And again, when you're in these relationships, you are being groomed, you're being trained, you're being taught that they will put up with you, they will tolerate you, they will maintain a relationship with you as long as you play by their rules. Yes, tough pill to swallow, but it's real. Doesn't matter if you were married or not. It's the narcissist way or it's nobody's way. That's exactly how they see every relationship on the planet. Every single one of them. There is not one person that is not immune to the narcissistic abusive cycle in some fashion or another. Think about it. Could be your mom, dad, aunt, uncle, brother, sister. Could be a teacher. It could be a doctor, a lawyer. It could be a person in a religious organization. It could be a neighbor. It could be a student. It could be your lover. It could be a new friend. It could be anybody. But this is why in the beginning of meeting individuals, I strongly suggest you watch the information you share with them. You do more listening than speaking, and you test the people out. You just see, hey, if they're a good fit or not. You see if their actions add up with their words follow their actions, or if they're just looking to get close to you to figure out what makes you tick so you could be the next target. Understand the message. So guys, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon. Stay true, stay blessed. Continue to become awakened and aware and understand you are the priority. You come first, second, and third. And remember, the price to pay in the narcissistic relationship of being silent, it's huge, because there are so many times that you want to be heard. There are so many times you aren't heard. There's so many times you have emotions that you want to just let out. And when you are counting on your partner and or spouse to be there for you when you need somebody and they are nowhere to be found, and this happens repeatedly, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, it is not a good relationship. It's not a healthy relationship, because you find more and more that you have nowhere to turn, and you become more and more isolated, and you become more and more silent. That is a fact. Why? Because the narcissist has silenced you. They've told you flat out, I don't want to see your tears. I don't want to hear your words. I won't be here for you. That is exactly what happens so many times. So guys, remember, no matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. God bless you. I love you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, bye guys.